everyone, it's Lisa and welcome to Make It Monday. Today is week 25 in my series on techniques, and today I'm teaching you the grid technique, also known as Retriform. Also been around for a very long time, haven't seen much done with it, so I thought I'd go back and revisit the idea. This is just one of the cards that I've made, and you can see the different grids that I've actually sponged and then stamped in. I have another sample for you. I'll show you at the end of the video. You're going to need a quarter sheet of cardstock. I'm using Whisper White, and you're going to need Post-it notes. What you're going to want to do is create grids or sections inside the cardstock that you're going to sponge. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to use the sticky end of the Post-it notes to put this down. Taking another one, and I'm going to put it like this. So now what I've done by using these Post-it notes is I've masked off these areas so they don't get ink on them. You're going to want to use the darkest color first. So today I'm experimenting. I'm using Smoky Slate and a sponge. Now my sponges look dirty, but they're not. I wash them with dish soap and water and let them air dry so that I can use them in other colors. I'm going to sponge some ink on here from the ink pad. And I'm going to dab a little bit off because I don't want it to be too strong when I start. Now, unlike regular sponging, which is a circular motion, I want you to drag back. Sponge a little off, and I'm dragging back right between the Post-it note and the cardstock. Okay? Now, the area that doesn't have a Post-it note here along the edges, I want you to do the same thing. So that's going to leave a center area that doesn't have much color. Now you can leave it like this, or you can use another color. And I'm going to experiment with some soft sky. I'm not sure how it's going to work because it's kind of light. Different sponge that's clean. And I'm going to just sponge some color inside of here. All right, now we're going to move these. Now I'm going to create another grid like this. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. As a matter of fact, if it's not, it's going to look better. So back in here, same thing. Make sure this is pressed down really well, and you're going to pull out. So you're starting here and pulling it onto the Post-it note. And here comes the soft sky that I'm going to fill in a little bit with. Okay, and then I'm going to remove these. Now, I'm going to continue this process until I have all the quadrants that I want. And then I'm going to show you what comes next. All done sponging. Kind of cool, huh? It almost looks marbled. Now, the Post-it notes are going to play an important role when we do the stamping because we're going to have to remask it. This part goes really quick. So far, this has been 4 minutes of sponging, just to give you an idea on time elapsed. So what I'm going to do now is I'll start here just to give you an idea. I'm going to remask the areas that I don't want ink with the same Post-it notes. No reason to use new ones. Make sure it's covered and you've pressed it down. And then this we're going to stamp. I've decided to pull out the stamp set Hello Lovely. It's got some fun images in it, a little bit more vintagey. Now I'm going to encourage you to stick to the same color tones. This is Smoky Slate and Soft Sky. So I'm going to use a little bit of those, and I can bring in a contrasting color, and maybe I'm thinking Pool Party. But for right now, I'm going to start with my Smoky Slate, and I am going to just create just random little designs inside this area. Now when I remove these, you're going to see how it's just inside of there. Now there's no reason to mimic this exactly, so what I'm going to do is come over here this time, mask off this section, making sure your seal where your sticky part of your Post-it note is pressed firmly because you don't want ink bleeding through. And I'm going to do it again over here in this area. You see what's starting to happen? We're starting to get that really cool grid look to it. This time I've chosen this image, and I'm going to go back and do some more masking, and I'm going to fill in these other areas. And I'm using the Soft Sky this time just to create some images in here. We are all finished. Doesn't that turn out really cool? Here was the original one I showed you, and here's one other one I did of curry color and a little bit of baked brown sugar. And after I did my quadrants on this one on the grids, I used the dictionary stamp set in the chocolate chip ink just to double expose the background. And I think this might be beautiful with French script, so I'm going to play that up a little bit. So there you have it. This is today's technique, and it's called grid technique or Retriform. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next week for Make It Monday.